Scorpios, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 17th to the 23rd. My name is Athen. So we had a new moon last Friday, and that was in your 10th house of work and career and everything on that public level. So maybe some new inspirations about that, because as it is for you Scorpios, it's important for you to have passion and inspiration in the work area, generally speaking, for all of you. So this week starts off in the crescent phase, which is about implementation of those new inspirations, and then ends in the first quarter phase, which is the first major actions and intentions with that, or, really putting in that energy. So I recommend that. Now the moon is going to be transiting the different, the more of the self area of the chart, and then going into your first house. So as the week unfolds, I think you'll notice more emphasis on your own ambitions and goals and things like that. But I would certainly utilize this. I think there is energy. I think you guys' energy levels, although Mars is debilitated for all of us, Mars is very close to the top of the chart. Their sun's at the top of the chart in dignity. Your guys' energy levels, I would say, generally should be pretty good. And continuing, with any of those intentions around career, public-related things, legacy, just big picture stuff in general. So let's talk about your ruler Mars here, who's been in the ninth house here. I think you guys are very intent on understanding more about life, philosophy, spirituality, or tapping into the adventurous spirit, such as through traveling and expanding your horizons that way. So whatever that's been, I think continuing with that will be just the general gist for you guys. And and then as that energy unfolds, like I said, in the next couple of weeks, when Mars goes into that 10th house of yours, you'll notice a huge upliftment in terms of the energy flowing a little bit smoother. Just because for all of us, Mars does have that debilitation, which can sometimes, especially in our bodies, feel like it's hard to relax and things like that. And because it's your ruler debilitated, it can mean that specifically for you, Scorpios. So keep that in mind. But I think exercise within reason, things like that, especially tapping into that adventurous spirit, and doing things like understanding more about philosophy and religious things or whatever it is, I think will be a good outlet for that Mars energy. So that being said, that's going to be the overall energy, because we're talking about your ruler and this new moon. But let's look at the aspects this week. We've got pretty much all work week, Venus trining up to Uranus, which is very nice just in general for mixing things up. And this is specifically relating to your relationships and your spirituality in life, since Venus does rule both of those areas. So Venus is over here in your 5th house. Hopefully you guys are expressing yourself, being yourself, which is this, transformative thing since the beginning of this year with the eclipses in that 5th. But reflecting on that with Uranus retrograde, but still, there's this lightheartedness about life, which can be very, very freeing for you. And it's about spiritual freedom, because, you guys are a water sign. Your self-expression, your enjoyment of life is of the spiritual, tranquil, or watery energy. So through expressing that, the spiritual truth, if you will, you can find that very exciting this week. And I think connecting to friends, connecting to relationships, and doing any of those spiritual pursuits can be quite liberating, and a good way of mixing things up, and maybe even some new insights coming in regards to that. But continue to reflect on too, and redo, in other words, kind of reevaluate your relationships and reevaluate your spirituality. Are you getting enough rest? Are you getting enough relaxation? Are you connected to, the now moment? These are the kinds of questions here. How are the relationship side of your life going? Things like that, I think, will be a good way of working with this. But anyways, Venus is, for the most part, well aspected, and so I think you'll find that pretty exciting, or can. And this, again, can be new opportunities there with those areas also. So that's the bulk of the week. And then Wednesday and Thursday, Mercury does oppose up to Chiron. So I think naturally you guys are thinking about career, work, all of that stuff, where the opportunities are. You have been expressing yourself there, hopefully. And so with Mercury opposing up to Chiron, this is the classic example of remembering that where there's the public life, there's also domestic and home life. And that's going to be an important continued balance for you, especially next week when the Sun and Jupiter oppose up to Neptune. And so here, this is, where you guys, in terms of home and family and past and roots, it's this importance of trust and faith there. And I think that can be very relaxing, actually. And this is the area in which you can find that spiritual tranquility, is through the home, family, past, and roots. But yeah, remembering that while there's a lot of activity in the career, big picture, public side of things, to balance that with your personal life. And vice versa, not going to any extremes with that, and realizing too that they're really one and the same. Both are foundations in life. Without career and our legacy, we don't have any type of personal life, and without the personal life, we don't have any type of without any anchoring and roots there on an emotional level, we don't have any of these passions and things on the career front. So just wanted to put that out there. I think that'll be mostly next week, and I think you'll find that quite healing too, the more willing you are to do that with Chiron in general. So that's going to be this middle part, and then Thursday through Saturday, we've got the sun squaring up to Saturn. So hopefully, over the past couple of years, you guys have gotten disciplined with relaxation or with spirituality, realizing that things like, interestingly, rest and spirituality do take effort, and they do take energy and intention and this sort of, groundedness about them. So continuing with that, with Saturn, who had just recently gone back into your 12th over the past couple months, will be important, as it has been, but especially because Saturn's going to be squaring up to a very personal planet, the sun, this week. And, through this, making sure you are connected, so to speak, you can find that very constructive, actually, in your work. So in other words, if you don't have that responsible take on it, if you aren't making sure you're getting that rest and that now moment awareness, then you might feel it coming down hard, because Saturn does have that restricting kind of energy, and it could come from the unconscious or subconscious mind. There's no way of really knowing for you how it might unfold. But if you are open to do that, to have that 12th house energy in your work, in everything you're doing on this public level right now, then you're working in tandem with it. It can be very constructive, and what you build this week and onwards can be very, very solid. So that's going to be important, and I think just in general, just being willing to put in hard work this week in regards to your career will be a good way of working with that Saturn as well. So let's go ahead and look at Mercury, who's going to be shifting signs going into your 11th house, where you've had the North Node. For the past couple years, there's been this underlying tone of you unfolding your network circles, putting more energy into that, into giving and contributing and things like that. So now with Mercury shifting in here over the weekend on Saturday, this will be mostly next week, is you'll have probably just more of a understanding, or wanting to connect, wanting to communicate and exchange things on that group level, whether it's with friends or your organizations or networking or whatever. So a good weekend for those things, especially because it is this life path energy, but that'll be going into next week in particular. So all in all, Scorpio, the emphasis is certainly the fact that your rulers in the 9th house will continue to investigate, probe this spirituality or adventurous spirit of life, wisdom, that kind of thing, and continue with these new beginnings that are shaping up in regards to career or big legacy, the big picture stuff. And through that, you're understanding more about it. There's wisdom coming in. There's opportunities. Continue to reflect on relationships. I think relationships can be quite exciting this week when you are having fun, tapping into that lighthearted energy, maybe creative projects, things like that. And that can help you relax too, interestingly enough, since Venus does rule that 12th house. So have a nice week, Scorpio. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out the description, since the signs are different than traditional astrology. So you want to make sure you're watching the right video for that. And of course, if you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. All right, Scorpio, have a good week.